I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Sunday evening. It is 9:08 p.m. Eastern. Do you know where your government officials are and what kind of corruption they're involved in? Hello, ladies. It is 491. This is the 491st episode of the Political Spotlight. I, of course, am your lovely host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is at the controls, making sure everything is running smoothly. We're in trouble. We've got one full bottle of water and one empty bottle of water, and I don't know what we're going to do, but I think we'll try to get through it. Hopefully, we might be able to get some help halfway through. I don't know. We might be in trouble tonight. I don't know. I'll let you know. So, we have a lot to cover tonight. We've got a lot to get into, so we might as well get all of the housekeeping things out of the way now. You know you love the content. You know you love me. Even if you hate me, you like it, you watch, you know what you do. So hit that thumb, give us a like, and share the show with everyone you know. If you want to communicate and you're here live, you do that over here on the right-hand side. If you're watching in the future via replay, you comment down below here, and we like you getting a hold of us however you can. I need to pull this up. Now, for those of you that don't know, I don't know, we're getting some new people in. So, Producer Kate, the wonderful commentary and everything's, it's like coming through a mind meld between Kate and I. You know, Kate knows where I am and knows what I'm going to talk about. Even if she doesn't exactly know what I'm talking about, she knows kind of the path that I go down. But Kate is like here to like help look things up, put stuff up on the screen, make me smarter, which she always does. I am only as great as I am because of Kate. If it wasn't for Kate, this would not be anything, hardly as much as it is. Kate puts the comments up on the screen, and I look at the comments off to the side, but not constantly and not all the time because I'm talking, I'm looking at things around here. So I don't always see the comments in real time, and I've got some people that have not really understood that here in the last couple of episodes. So I wanted to kind of make sure people are aware. I'm not always looking at your comments. Sadly, this is not your program, it is mine. And while we are on this major ego trip here, we're going to cover a couple of other kind of egotistical things right here at the beginning. But before we do that, I do need to put a couple of things in this computer. So while I'm doing that, go ahead and give us the like, smash that button, do all of that stuff. I will tell you, I'm going to give you a breakdown right here at the beginning of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So tonight's episode, I titled the episode, Property rights, political fights, GOP lawsuit highlights, and more. See kind of what I did there? It kind of all rhymed there until we got to the end. Property rights, political fights, GOP lawsuit highlights, and more. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, first up, we're going to be talking about the ongoing private property rights fight in Winchester, Randolph County, Indiana. I tag both Winchester and Randolph County in there because it's really a Winchester deal. But because Commissioner Missy Williams has butted in the system and butted in the situation, she's brought the Randolph County government into it as well. It has no business being there. Matter of fact, Winchester has no business being there. But that's why I include Winchester, Randolph County, Indiana. It's still happening. It's still ongoing. They have a meeting that's going to happen tomorrow at 6 p.m., and I'm going to be there and in attendance. I'm going to show you an agenda here in a little bit. Not right now. Here in a little bit, I'm going to show you an agenda. They've actually marked the topic off of the agenda and said that it's not going to be on tomorrow. It was originally on tomorrow's agenda, but then they marked through it because the attorney that they've hired, John Brook, hasn't gotten back to them with the information that they need yet. So they don't plan on talking about it tomorrow, but there's a very good likelihood that it could be brought up during the comment section, either from one of the homeowners around there, maybe possibly Missy Williams. And I can tell you, I am definitely going to bring it up. So we are going to talk about it at the meeting tomorrow, and all of you will be able to watch it because Winchester now live streams their meetings, as does and should everyone else. Let me get the comments back up here. Sorry. So that's there. That's first up. Then next. From there, we'll be taking a look at the surveillance video of the incident that was reported in Grant County. I have the actual surveillance video footage of this happening. It's very short. It's not long. There's no sound. But we're going to watch it, and we're going to also watch some other commentary because something crazy is happening. And there are some people that are looking at this video, and they're saying, nothing happened. He wasn't escorted out of the building. Everything looks kosher here. And, dude, I don't know. I don't know if they're not looking. I don't know if they're blind, and I'm not making fun of people that are blind. I don't know if they have issues smelling or feeling or touching, tasting, or whatever these people's issues are. But they are not looking at the same clips of video that I'm looking at, because the video that I'm looking at absolutely confirms, in my opinion, what was reported. And I can definitely go through it with you. I can definitely. I just saw your message to me, Kate, and I was going to put it up for everybody, but I won't, and no problem. I love it. I was like, good thing that didn't get. See me, I try to message you a lot, and I just accidentally put it in the other in the live chat. So good thing you're smarter than I am. Oh, God. Okay, so we'll be looking at that footage. And then the third big topic we're going to be talking about is this lawsuit. I brought it up a couple times. This lawsuit that was filed early last week by a young man against the Indiana State Republican Party leadership. It's making its rounds, and it's kicking up some conversation and controversy. And I've got some thoughts about everybody that's commenting on this. And there are some people that are supposed to be... I'm mad at everybody that's commenting on this, and I'll explain to you why. And then at the end of that, towards the end of the show, we're going to briefly talk about the upcoming Delaware County Plan Commission. That meeting has been set to talk about the solar ordinance in Delaware County. This is a biggie, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you details on the upcoming rally that is scheduled for tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Henry County to push back and to fight back against the sexual harassment and the sexual crimes that are going on, that have been going on down there. I guess people rallying in support of the victims, rather. I'm going to give you some updates on public record requests from Muncie and Blackford County. Now, those two are two separate requests, but I just lumped them in there together. And then lastly, we're going to end with information about the Madison County Fair that you need to know for this week. Delaware County Fair is over. Madison County Fair is going, and there's some important information. So those are the topics. Let's go ahead and get into it so we can have an understanding of what's happening here. So Winchester, Indiana, the Winchester City Council meeting was scheduled for tomorrow. Is scheduled for tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. It's still scheduled for tomorrow, and it is going to be covered on their new feed. And if you'll bear with me, by the end of the episode, well, maybe if Kate's feeling froggy, Kate might be able to look and find out where that link is. I don't know. We'll put it in the show at some point where you can find the link. I forget what it is. I think it's on YouTube at Winchester City Council or Winchester City Government. I don't know where it is. I'll look for it here in a minute. But first and foremost, I'm going to bring up this agenda so you guys can see this agenda and let you guys see what we're doing here. So, and it might say on here, we'll look at it here. I'll see if I can blow this up. Okay. So, here's the Winchester Common Council meeting, July 21st, 6 p.m. I completely glossed right over the egotistical stuff. I got to pause this. We got to come back to this. I got to take care of this first. This is probably more important for me to do this real quickly. I just need to do this. We'll come back to the Winchester. Sorry. I just got rolling with it. Okay. So I want to say this, and periodically I normally say this during election time, and I guess I haven't said it enough this year because we're technically not in election time, but we're gearing up, and it's going to be election time before you know it. So I feel because we have so many new people, I probably need to say this. This is a political commentary show where I give you political thoughts and comments and my opinions. This is not a news platform. This is an opinion platform. And while I am still young in my life, I hope and pray and believe that I'm still young. I feel young. I think I have a birthday sometime this week, but that matters not. That being said, I have been involved in politics for the majority of my life. I use my political experience. Hello, DZ. I use my political experience, my political knowledge at the local, state, and national level, my years of experience in politics, and now, hell, even now I've got 9-10 years in doing this. So I've even got some experience doing this now. At one point, I was an idiot. I'm still an idiot, but now I have experience. So I use that to bring you information and to try to keep you abreast of what the news is and the information is. And when I give you the information, my biggest point is I give you my thoughts and my opinions. I would like to believe that I am attempting to change your mind or giving you the information for you to go out and seek the information that you need to. And I try to give you the places to go for that so you can make up your own mind. Lastly, I'm okay if we come here, we talk, we debate, and at the end of the day, we disagree. I'm okay with that. You don't have to do as I do. You don't have to do as I say. You can take this information, chuck it out the window, and completely go the opposite way. That's grand. I don't call some shows breaking news. There is time. See, I will say, along with what we do, it's just inevitable that I will give you news and break news, but I don't consider myself a journalist. It's still 90-10 opinion versus news. Okay. So I am perfectly okay with any of you out there coming here and debating me, telling me I'm wrong, going on my posts and telling me why I'm wrong, or telling me that you disagree with me. What I am not okay with is just completely coming at me like I'm making decisions based completely out of pocket, without information, without anything, and just completely uneducated in the system. Just say what you want. You can come on and do that. Just understand that when that happens, I'm going to shut that down. I'm not going to give very much credence to that, because I don't ever make a decision without experience. It might not be the experience that you've had. It might not be the understanding that you've had, and you might not like it, and that's fine, but it is coming from a place of understanding. And I'm going to give you the perfect example of this. So this weekend, I announced that I hear the program. I'm the only one on the program that lives in Delaware County. So this has no bearing on Kate, has no bearing on Brandon, any of our, any of our contributing people, has no bearing on Catherine. It would have a bearing on Audie, but Audie, I guarantee you, it will be in agreement with this. So the only people that it would really affect would be me and Audie, and he's in agreement with this. I'm not asking, but I'm sure. I made the statement this weekend that the platform here, I'm endorsing Amanda Dunnick for Judge of the Circuit Court 5. And it's always interesting, specifically when supporting someone running for sheriff, or someone supporting someone running for sheriff, prosecutor, or judge. You always have, straight out the gate, people who maybe have dealt with these people who don't like them simply because they've been dealt with. Then you have people in politics who don't like people for their last name or for their family or whatever. And I'm perfectly fine with that and understand that. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. I love Stumblefoot. Have great have great information. I know Stumblefoot does not agree with my support of Amanda Dunnick. I understand that, and I respect that difference of opinion, and I'm okay with that. And I wholeheartedly want him to go out there and campaign for the people he supports against me. There was somebody else that was commenting. There were two people, one person not even from Delaware County, that was so out of pocket and so offhand, it was just insane. But then there was another person that's from Delaware County that's like, you just don't know. You just don't know. And I'm like, what do I not know? What do I not know? Before you tell me I don't know something, tell me why you think I don't know that. And I'm going to tell you why. Look, there's Audie Barber. Talk about him and he appears. That's crazy. Maybe I should have been saying his name all this time. That's weird. That is really weird. But let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you just really quickly, because this wasn't part of the show, but I feel like I had to do this because some comment got me all twisted right before we went live. Let me tell you what's going on here. That's what you got to do. Just say his name and he appears. Let me tell you this. There are 1, 2, 3. There are 4 people. No, Yeah, there are 4 people running currently for Circuit Court 5. Now there could be more maybe by the time we get there. But right now, there are 2 Republicans and there are 2 Democrats. Okay? Let's talk about the Republicans for a second. The Republicans are Ben Freeman, an attorney who's been an attorney for a little bit. He's been an attorney for a while, but he has exactly zero real life criminal or civil courtroom experience. Zero. Okay? He's not even known outside of the small circle of politicos in county government. He's not known in the city. He does a small role in the city. He's the attorney for the MRC. We know how ignorant they are, and that whole bunch is a shit show. So he gets a lot of shit that way. But he's known as the whiny, bratty county council attorney. And we watch this. No. Don't. Anybody should be watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, you're getting a lesser feed. You should be watching. I'm watching all the feeds coming down, but the majority of the people, if you're watching this, you should be watching on YouTube or X would be the top 2 places to watch from. Just FYI. Okay, back at it. Half the time I have my eyes closed, but no, Facebook is not the best place. Anyways, one of these days I'm going to stop broadcasting to Facebook. We get nothing from Facebook, so it doesn't really make sense to broadcast there. Anyways, going on to it. So Ben has exactly zero experience. And the circuit court is not a position that you would give to someone with zero experience. Exactly true, but how do you learn of who you talk to? I talk to everybody watching. I talk to people on YouTube, Stumblefoots on YouTube. I talk to just people at different times. I don't monitor the chat. My chat, the show is what I've got here. The show is not in the comments. I watch the comments very rarely. Kate does the comments, and you guys are talking about the stuff. The show is what I've got planned to talk about. Anyways, Ben Freeman, in my opinion, is just not somebody that can have that seat. Now, he is the favorite of the Republican Party. He is the favorite of some of the insiders of the Republican Party. Okay. His opponent is Tim Hollums. Now, Tim Hollums has been an attorney for 25, 30 years, 10 years experience in CPS. We know that CPS is a shit show. And then he's been a master commissioner for 8 or 9 years. Okay, so he's got some experience. In my opinion, I don't like Hollums because he let the child molester go before sentencing. So I got a real problem with that. But as far as experience, he's got more experience than Freeman. Okay. But here's the deal. Freeman is never going to have a battle there. Freeman will win 100% the Republican primary, hands down, because Hollums doesn't have a chance. The party is putting all of their weight behind Freeman. He's their boy, even though you're not supposed to do that. All right, now we've got Marisol Driscoll on the Democrat side and Amanda Dunnick, okay? Marisol Driscoll is a young attorney, promising public servant. But even if she wanted to beat Dunnick, she's not going to. She's just simply not going to beat Dunnick. So in time, looking at all what's happening here, the the November election is going to come down between Dunnick and Freeman. And I'm just telling you that I am hearing from enough Republicans that are saying if the choice is between Freeman and Dunnick, I'm hearing Republicans stating they're going to pick Dunnick because it's not just me that knows that. It's not just me that knows that Freeman has no pick. Now, are there other people that would be better that I would like, if it was other judges? Yeah. But a lot of what we do is picking the best of all the bad choices. The best of all the bad choices. So I respect people who have differing opinions. And there's some wingnut on here that's like out here that's like sovereign citizen and all that stuff. Look, I've said it a billion times. I say it to Jack all the time, say it to a lot of people. When you guys are ready to start the revolution and it's going, when the revolution's going and everything's burnt down, hit me up. But until then, you don't walk onto a football field during a football game with a basketball saying, let's change the game to basketball. No matter how many footballers you knock out, there's not going to be a basketball hoop to throw the ball into. Now, if you're ready to just completely demolish the place and set up, let's rock and roll. But when you're on the football field, you have to at times play with the worst of. Now, I'm not saying like it's someone that I'm going to dinner with or whatever. I'm just giving you an understanding of basically who I know or believe is going to win. That's the point. Okay. So you are all free to come change my mind. You're all free to come debate me on that. I love it. I'm wonderful. Just don't tell me that I'm coming from a place of just complete ununderstanding, because that's complete ignorance. Okay? You might not be the understanding or the experience or the political world that you've lived in, but it's a political world that I've lived in for the majority of my life. So I'm just telling you, you're free to come change my mind. Come change my mind. I love argument and debate. We can have, that's fun. That's not, I love it. That's fine. But just, you have to, people have to come more with than just saying like, oh yeah, I didn't like the outcome when I was sitting in court, or, ooh, you don't want to support that person because that person is owned by the England, the Bank of England, and, it's maritime law. Save me with that. Miss me with that bullshit. Because, I don't know. Until we're all living like sovereign citizens, that shit doesn't work. Okay. Now, back to Winchester. Winchester, Indiana. Didn't Amanda Dunnick, as Democrat boss, appoint a felon to election board? Amanda Dunnick has never been a Democrat boss. So I don't know what you're talking about there, but who's the felon to the election board? The election board, who are you talking about on the election board? Are you talking about Phil Nichols' daughter? Hey, Audie, you and me and David are all related. I'll tell you about it sometime. So don't be mean to my nephew and your cousin or whatever. No, I'm kidding. I mean, no, I'm not kidding. We're all about roundabout related, but you guys in a different world, you would love each other. No, I know. I just now saw that. The lawyer that hit the young boy. Yeah, that one. You're talking about Megan, you're talking about the Quirks, not the Dunnocks. See, that's the other thing. People always get the Quirks and the Dunnocks mixed up because they're long-term names. But anybody that's been in politics for a billion years is going to have a long-term, in Muncie's going to have a long-term name. But no, Amanda's never been a political, he is not going to have a political, she's never been a political boss, I guess, if you want to call it that. All right. On to Winchester. So, no, you can come change my mind anytime. Okay, here we go. So, City of Winchester, somebody, Chris, Megan, you're aware that there are more people than you with the name Megan in the world, right? That's a pretty common name. Winchester City Council meeting starts tomorrow, Monday, July 21st, 2025, 6 p.m. The Winchester City Councilors, in case you all haven't seen or been around for a while, John Bruchin, John Boyd, Terry Alfrey, Jim Nunez, Nan Harris, District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4, and your at-large counselor is John Bruchin, okay? So John Boyd's 1, Terry Alfrey's 2, Jim Nunez is 3, Nan Harris is 4. She took the place of Lisa Friend, who was living, I think, lastly in like Canada or the Guam or someplace like that, and still working as a Winchester City Councilor. It was insane. So they're going to, no, Megan Stoner's never been a political boss in Delaware County either. Okay. Welcome to and call to order, Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence, roll call, accounts payable, new business, fireworks ordinance discussion. It's great. We're going to have fireworks ordinance discussion. You know, they always do this right after the 4th of July. They're always like, we got to have an ordinance because these damn people keep shooting off fireworks. Listen, it doesn't happen for too long. Just roll with it. It's 1 month a year. Rock and roll. It'll be okay. See, Kate even says, this is Winchester. This is Kate's neck of the woods. She says it was even quiet this year in Winchester. So it'll be interesting to see what they're bitching about. Trash pickup discussion. This is new ordinances. Ordinance 25-9, ambulance fees. Uh-oh. I wonder if those fees are going up. I guarantee you they're not going down. So that'll be interesting. Next, we go into old business, Winchester, to talk about Diva's Boutique. That'll be interesting. Diva's Boutique is a business that a business that received some edit money back when I was fighting Winchester the last time. So it'll be interesting. Like, are they paying it off? Is it paid off? Are they asking for more money? I don't have a dog in that fight. It'll be interesting to see. Their business is still up and it's still there. So I'm glad for those people, because it seems like they're making a run at it. Matter of fact, last time I was in Winchester, it seemed as if they were expanding. So, good for them. Good for them. Depending on what they want, I guess. Okay, next up, number 2. You see right there where it says Washington/Franklin Alley. No update from attorney. No discussion. No discussion in big letters. Oh, I bet there's going to be some discussion. Okay. So to just let you guys know, all right, the attorney that they're talking about is Delaware County Attorney John Brook. Okay. And they hired John Brook because Meeks Cockrell, number one, Meeks Cockrell is an idiot. Okay. Number two, he represented a couple of the people that are involved with this. So he was like, I can't do it, which is a legitimate concern. So they hired John Brook. Now, I have two trains of thoughts with this. I don't like John Brook. John Brook is an idiot. I'm not a fan of John Brook. I do not like John Brook. John Brook is a bad guy, in my opinion. Okay, I do not like him. See you, Cindy. What are you talking about, Audie? I'm not a big fan of John Brook. That being said, while I think that Brook is willing to help them do dirty things over here, I think that he's smarter than the people of Winchester, and I think that he could tell them, you don't want to get involved with this, you don't want to do this, you shouldn't do this. I hope he does. I hope he tells them that right stuff. I hope he tells them that. All right, so we'll have to see. Maybe it'll be next time. They have a meeting every 2 weeks. So if they don't discuss it Monday, which they're not going to, then in 2 weeks we'll do it again. I'm going to be at every meeting until they discuss it one way or another, because we're going to get to the bottom of this. Now, number 3, dumpster POD ordinance 25-7. Don't really know what this is. Then they're going to do department reports, citizens' concerns. And during the citizens' concerns, who knows who will speak, but I am definitely going to speak on this, and I'm going to let them know what I think about it, and I'm going to let them know why I think they should stop it, even before John Brook gets involved, and let them know that we're going to have a problem. I think that I could see Missy being there to tell them to not do it. Remember how she like was for it, and then she gave the email that said now she wasn't for it. She hasn't been back to a meeting since then, and I don't know if she will show herself because she got in the hot water with it all. I don't know if that, or if she'll be there. I'm kind of hoping she'll be there to go back on what she was pushing originally. Time will tell. I don't know. Missy is very strange. And you can never tell what she will do. So we will be there. We will cover it. We will talk about this tomorrow, and we'll maybe have some video footage to watch. Who knows? I've been arrested while speaking at the Winchester City Council meeting. I don't think they're that dumb anymore, but you never know. I will definitely have bail money on me just in case. And hopefully Bob will pull out the big mallet. I don't know. I will tell you, I in a roundabout way think Bob is on my side in this. I don't think Bob wants to do this. It's the council, and of the council, it for some reason tends to be Terry Alfrey, John Boyd, and John Bruchin. That's what, yeah. That's what I'm going to tell Bob tomorrow. I'm going to tell Bob that he needs to veto their vote. Here's the thing, though. I might have to go back and look. I think we're past it. I think, doesn't he have to veto within 30 days? So we might be out of luck, maybe. I'd have to go back and look. So I think that might be the bad thing, but I will go back and read that before I go in, because I think that would be a good thing. So we will have more on this coming up. This will be a big thing, but it might not be as big of a thing tomorrow, because seems like they're not going to be ready to discuss it. When it's going to be a big thing is when they're going to say, yes, we're going on that property to tear it down. If John Brook tells them not to, or they decide not to, that'll be the good thing. But if we get to a point where they say we're rocking and rolling, then that is when this will be a big issue, because this is a private property rights issue. If you're interested in knowing more about what I'm talking about, we've covered this several times. We covered it back in episode 474 is the biggest show, episode 474. That's Winchester's attempted theft of private property. If you want to go back and catch that, we've talked about it a few other times, but that show right there would be a big show to go back and watch, episode 474. So we'll have more about this in the next upcoming days. Okay, moving on. To Grant County we go. This is going to be the big one. So, I don't know how I want to do this. I don't know if I want to play Channel 27's commentary first. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So, I put in for this footage and a citizen journalist up in Grant County runs a program called Channel 27 News and Entertainment. I've always liked what he's done. I've never had a problem with anything that he's done before. I don't always agree with what he's said and done. I don't always agree, just like anything else, just like people don't always agree with me. It's fine. But I've always appreciated things that he's attempted to do. Okay? Now, I'll tell you this. When I first started being pointed in the direction of Grant County, the very first thing I was told was it was strange because these two commissioners that everybody calls out of control, Shane Middlesworth and Chuck Poling from Grant County, they were best buds with the owner of and the host of Channel 27. I think his name's Rashad. Rashad, I believe, is his name. And so I was like, okay, well, that's fine. You can be best buds with people, and that's not a big deal. Well, then I heard, and listen, I'm just putting this out there because it's true. I'm not saying anything negative about it. It just is what it is. I then heard that Rashad had a contract with Grant County, with the Grant County commissioners he doesn't record their stuff. So I think somebody else does, or their IT guy does, but he puts it out. So he's got some kind of contract with Grant County. Now, I am not hating on him for that. I don't think that makes him a bad person. I just think that you've got to be careful in that situation, because it could put you in a situation where you could be a biased person. I've had people ask me before why I don't try to undercut Mark Slusher, and why I don't try to say, I will do the city or the county's live feeds. I'm going to tell you the exact reason why I don't. Because the moment that I'm getting paid $25,000 from the city of Muncie to live stream their shit, people are going to be like, oh, He's getting paid. You know, his comment. Notice Bilbrey's not talked about riding hour in a minute. Notice Bilbrey's not talking about the commissioners in a minute. And I'm going to say, I have the opinion, and I am of the opinion, that if I was in that situation, I wouldn't give a damn. I would still talk just the same way I am. I would still take it to them just like I do. That's my opinion right now. Maybe that would change. I don't think it would. I think I would be straight up. But, you know, then the other thing is they say like, well, you know, you work for us now and you've said something bad. Now you don't work here. And so it'd be stupid to do it for like a day. Like I would go and record one meeting and I would be in the meeting getting mad because they were doing something stupid. And I'd run outside and be like, yo, you guys, you know, you can't do that. And then I would immediately get fired. And so it's like, what's the point of that? So I just don't put myself in that situation. I get paid through advertisements and doing what I do. And at the end of the day, that's not what it's about anyways. At the end of the day, it's about getting the information out. It's about being true. It's about keeping you guys informed, keeping people informed, spreading the information, and calling out dirt, corruption, and moving forward. Okay? So, oh, yeah, Kat. There's no question. That's absolutely true. So, anyway, that's the reason I don't do that. And, you know, it is what it is. I'm not hating on Rashad or whatever his name is for this. I'm just letting you know that we got to take it a little bit of with what he says with a grain of salt because of what the situation is. So I'm going to play for you here what he said. Now, he put this out. Wait a minute. Where's it at? Because it seems like he took one of them down. And I want the first one. Give me a second here. See what the hell's going on here. Okay, right here we are. All right. So keep in mind the incident that we're talking about with Commissioner Chuck Polling getting in a fight with an argument with County Clerk Pam Harris, a woman. It happened on July 1st. Okay, July 1st. That was a Tuesday, July 1st. Now, what you're getting ready to hear is the first time that Rashad has talked about it since it happened. And a lot of people have had issue with that. Like, whoa, why is he not talking about this? He normally talks about everything. Well, let's find out. Let's find out what Rashad has to say. And apologies if I'm saying his name wrong. I might very well be.
County official Chuck Polling gets escorted from the courtroom. That's the headline circulating around, making it like Chuck done screamed and yelled at this woman, and the police and the deputies had to drag him out the courthouse. And then once that hit through social media on people's pages before it hit the Chronicle, why ain't Channel 27 reporting it? Channel 27 ain't reporting Chuck getting escorted from the courthouse. It's because Chuck is paying them. Chuck is paying Channel 27. So they're protecting Chuck. I didn't report that Chuck got escorted from the courtroom because I knew he didn't get escorted from the courtroom. I'm so sick.
Well, back up. Okay, so real quick. People's like, you drag on too long. Let me tell you, this is why I drag on too long, so you have an understanding of what the hell I'm talking about. Dude here just jumped right into it, and people's like, whoa, what's happening? Who's this guy? What's going on? You know, so if you don't know what's happening, like, you're lost. This guy just like, he gets drugged from a courthouse. Why aren't you doing this? So for everybody's understanding, this is the main guy of Channel 27. I think his name's Rashad. All right. And so what he's saying is that he heard this rumor, and everyone's like, why aren't you reporting on this? And then he says, well, I didn't report on this because he's like, they're saying you're not reporting on it because you're getting paid. You're getting paid. He says, well, I knew I didn't report on this because I knew Chuck didn't get escorted out of the courtroom. Now, listen, I agree with him. Chuck didn't get drug out of the courtroom. Chuck didn't get drug or escorted. Like, Chuck was yelling and screaming with the clerk. The police, the prosecutors, investigators came up. They told him to leave, said, we need to leave. They left. They left. He left the building with them. They made him leave the building. They didn't put him in handcuffs. They didn't drag him out by his shoulder. I mean, he is an elected official there. They're giving him, even though he's in the wrong, they are paying him some bit of respect, even though I don't think that it's warranted. Like Kate's saying, he wasn't escorted out of the courtroom. He wasn't in court. He was escorted from the courthouse. All right. Listen to this.
Because some of y'all, it's like if I don't say anything, oh, Rashard's biased. Oh, he just collects advertiser money. He's just getting paid. Then when I say something, videos, interview the sheriff, interview Mike, for obvious reasons, Chuck isn't going to say anything. I called Pam Harris. I called her on Wednesday, no response, called her back today, but I am so biased. I'm really just rooting for Chuck and protecting Chuck. Facts are the facts. I put out there what's there.
Now, back up. He says he didn't talk to the clerk. The clerk didn't respond, throwing her on the bus like she's not responding. She gave her statement to the police. She gave her statement to the newspaper, and I've called and spoke to her, and everything that she's given to the police, to the paper, and to myself has lined up 100%. She's never deviated, and what she said has remained factual and actual. And I'm even going to tell you a part that we're going to hear, that people are going to talk about, that we're going to talk about here in a second, that she even agreed to, that happened, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. All right, here we go.
You guys really tick me off because I've been doing this for 8 years, and not one person, not one that I've interviewed ever came back and said, Rashard twisted my words. I didn't say that, Rashard. You want to know my process? It ain't no secret. Y'all know I use ChatGPT, right? You know, y'all call yourself busting me out for that. There's no way in the world I could do the output that I do every day, writing all these information, these articles and posts and promotions by myself. Let me tell you what I did. I got on the phone with the sheriff. I called the sheriff, told the sheriff I was recording the phone call. I got on the phone with Mike, told Mike I'm recording the phone call. I took some of what was, I didn't use it, but I used it as a reference of what the Chronicle had to say. And I fed it in the Chat GP and bam, it spit it out. So that's bias. Chat GPT's bias. Chuck ain't paying.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
ChatGPT don't know Chuck.
No, I don't have a problem with him. I mean, I'm sure obviously he's not talking about me. He's taking some heat from somebody somewhere, and he's talking about this heat that he's taking, and I don't know what it is. I guess what he's doing is he's basically saying that, you know, what was reported didn't happen. This is what this man is saying. You know, what's reported didn't happen. Okay. That's what I guess that we're going off of, is he's saying that this didn't happen. So this, going back to his article, this is what he has to say. We're going to pause him here. He says, escorted or exaggerated, breaking down the courtroom rumor. Yeah, this is definitely Chat GPT. Definitely. With firsthand witness testimony and statements from the Sheriff's Department, Channel 27 clears the air on what really happened. Grant County, Indiana. A verbal confrontation between Grant County Commissioner Chuck Poling and County Clerk Pam Harris on July 1st has sparked both internal controversy and alleged investigation by the Indiana State Police. Channel 27 News has now obtained an exclusive interview with Mike Simpson, a county maintenance employee who was present during the encounter and is shedding new light on what he says really happened that day. The conflict sparked by heat. According to Simpson, the issue began over the dangerous working conditions. A 77-year-old courthouse employee named Bob, who works part-time shredding paper, had been assigned to an upstairs office with no air conditioning. Over the past several weeks, summer temperatures had made the space unbearably hot, reportedly exceeding 100 degrees. We were 100% worried about Bob's safety, Simpson said. Nobody should have been up there working. Commissioner Poling and Simpson approached Clerk Harris to discuss relocating Bob to a safer workspace, and that's where the situation took a turn. The moment things escalated, he says. According to Simmons, everything began calmly when he and Commissioner Poling stepped into the Clerk Harris's office to voice their concerns about the extreme heat Bob was enduring on the top floor of the courthouse. We said good morning and told her we were there about Bob and the unsafe heat. He explained, just wanted to ask if he could be moved somewhere else. The atmosphere allegedly shifted when they mentioned Harris had previously insisted Bob remain in the courthouse. Okay? As they reiterated their concern for Bob's safety, the discussion quickly turned into a disagreement over who had authorized Bob's current location. She started to get confrontational, Simmons said. She came around the desk and said, You don't tell me who put him up there. Poling reportedly responded by trying to refocus the conversation, saying it didn't matter who put Bob there, only that something needed to be done for his safety. At that moment, Harris allegedly stepped closer to Poling, raising her finger and pointed it directly in his face. Poling told her not to do that. He said, Don't point your finger in my face. It wasn't loud or angry, just firm, Simmons recalled. Then Harris allegedly clenched her fist and held it within inches of Poling's face. That's when I knew something was really wrong, Simmons said. It felt like she was trying to provoke him. Rather than escalate the situation, Simmons and Poling left the office immediately. We looked at each other and we knew it was time to go. We didn't want this little old woman, and I apologize. I'm not saying that. I apologize that, but I don't think that she's trying to intimidate Poling, okay? We looked at each other. We knew it was time to go. We didn't want it to get worse. Contradicting claims of escort. Following the incident, rumors circulated that Commissioner Poling had been escorted out of the building by law enforcement. Simmons disputes that entirely. We left on our own. A deputy told us to take the stairs. We waited for the elevator instead. No one escorted us. No one followed us. Bullshit. Sheriff's account of what happened. In a recorded interview with Channel 27, a representative from the Grant County Sheriff's Department clarified their response. According to the sheriff, deputies were called for a disturbance on the floor where the confrontation took place. When the responding deputy arrived, most of the conflict had already de-escalated. The deputy suggested Chuck and Mike take the stairs to exit the building, but they chose to wait for the elevator. Once the elevator arrived, deputies accompanied them down to ensure all parties remained separated. The only thing we did as we separated the parties, you could say that we escorted them down from the floor to separate the two, the sheriff said. However, he emphasized that at no point were they dragged from the building. Nobody said they were dragged from the building. No one's ever said they were dragged from the building. However, he emphasized that at no point they were dragged from the building. The video just shows our deputies actually walking towards the front, Mr. Poling following them. Then he and the deputies say a couple things, and it appears they just walked out by themselves. As for whether the incident is officially under investigation, the sheriff said the Indiana State Police had been contacted, and they were expected to document the incident as of the interview. The department had not questioned or asked any official statements. Further confirmation would need to come from the state police directly. I think Jay was advised they're documenting it, but I've been gone all week, and to my knowledge, they haven't asked us for anything. Questions about the investigation. Although the incident is reportedly under review by the Indiana State Police, Simmons says he's not been contacted by anyone. No one from the state police has reached out to me at all, he said. He also recalled a moment after the confrontation that he finds troubling. After she put her fist down, she looked right at me and said, Michael, you saw everything, right? Simmons believes his eyewitness account contradicts the narrative being circulated and questions why he hasn't been contacted by investigators. She hasn't told anyone to contact me. She hasn't told anyone to contact me because she knows what I saw, he said. Now, back up on that. Okay. So, no response from Pam Harris, he says. A workplace divided. Simmons also described a growing culture divide inside the courthouse. Some employees love the changes under Chuck and Shane. Others preferred it when rules were looser. He noted the new enforcement of government building codes has resulted in the removal of decorative plants, wax warmers, and scented items. It's about safety and code compliance, not personal attacks. Okay, so this is what the Channel 27 is saying. All right, basically, other than talking to Simmons, which we'll talk about him in a minute, basically Channel 27 is, other than Simmons' account, rehashing everything that we've already said. The police were there. They walked him out. It didn't happen. Now he's saying like, oh, we don't know if the police is investigating it. Well, let me tell you, the state police don't just contact the news. The state police won't be contacting people based off what Pam said. They will be contacting people that they feel has information. And if they contact you, you'll give them the information. If they don't, they probably don't need what you say. But Pam is not directing that investigation. The state police will do the investigation that they feel they need to do. If they do the investigation, and if anything comes of it. What I find interesting is Channel 27 and Simmons didn't note anything about the prosecutor's office or the prosecutor's investigators. And keep that in mind because that's important. All right. Now, I want to go back up here to Rashad's comments. Let's continue hearing. I think I'm calling his name wrong. I'm just going to keep calling him Channel 27 so I don't mispronounce or misstate his name. All right. Here we go.
Don't know Pam, don't know Sheriff Garcia or none of that. Man, y'all people, you believe what you want. That's what I've learned in doing this. When y'all decide what y'all want to believe, that's what it is, no matter what nobody else put. And I'm tired of hearing about me getting paid. I'm not going to apologize it. Yes, I'm paid. Yes, I'm going to continue to get paid. And I understand y'all don't want to see nobody like me get paid, but too bad, baby.
Now, I take major issue with that statement. I don't know what listen, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because maybe I can say the same thing. People out there don't want to see anybody like me get paid. Maybe that is someone who's telling the truth, someone who's calling him out. I hope that what he's meaning. I sure as hell hope that he's not meaning a person of color, black man, whatever you want to say. I hope he's not claiming that people that are disagreeing with him are simply disagreeing because I'm racist or everybody's racist. That's exactly right, Carrie. That's what my fear is. My fear is very much there. And let me tell you, he's been doing this a long time in Grant County. Grant County doesn't have an issue with him. There are people at Grant County, I'm sure, listen, I'm sure it's very much like me, okay? He doesn't do the same thing that I do. He is more news-oriented, meaning he goes and he reports on stuff. He reports on crimes. He does stuff with the police blotter. And he offers a really good service for Grant County, for Marion. Outside of whatever he's doing for the county commissioners, I got nothing to say about that. And I'm not even saying anything about that. I'm just telling you, if you're getting paid by Chuck Polling, you're going to have to take people saying you might be biased. If you don't like to hear that, tough shit. Maybe don't get paid by him. That's all I got to say, man. I don't know what else to say. But if you're okay with it, you gotta be willing. You know, when you put yourself out here like this, you gotta be willing to take it. Okay, let's go on.
Y'all been getting paid, and gonna keep getting paid, and I'm gonna do the right things with my money. I'm gonna get on up out of here. Let's talk about it. For 6 years, I begged y'all ungrateful selves. A lot of y'all, again, if this don't apply to y'all, if y'all support me and love me, ain't none of this going to y'all. This is for the haters and all that, whatever you want to call it. I'm tired of that word. I begged y'all for years, for 6 years. I want the community to give me $1. You know why I wanted that? Because I wanted to be community-based. I wanted to be funded by the community, so there would be no speculation of me being biased. If I got to do a story on a business or a politician, it don't matter. I'm still going to eat. It ain't no perception if I'm going to be, because the community is funding me, right? I used to beg y'all, and what did y'all say? Go get a real job. Go get a day job. Why don't you go work a 9 to 5? You're wanting to have us pay you to give us the news. That's your job. You go get a job. When you get off work, then you do the news. Man, y'all crazy. So let me get this right. I begged y'all for y'all support for about 6 years. You didn't give it to me. I switched my business model up. Now I get my support elsewhere. Oh, now y'all mad about that. Oh, Chuck's paying him. The city of Marion's paying him. The police department's paying him. The fire department's paying him. Yes, I'm getting paid. It's obvious y'all don't want to see that. This is funny. I think about this all the time. You see them plants in behind me because, you know, I'm a plant collector, right? Remember when I was selling plants? Y'all got mad about that. There was a protest on Facebook, man, because I was selling plants. Oh, no, Rashard is going over to Muncie, and he's buying plants, and he's coming over here. He's using his gas, spending all his time, and he's coming over here and selling the plants for a profit. He's making a movie. He's making y'all don't want to see nobody get paid. Y'all is a bunch of crabs in a barrel around here, and I'm so sick of it. You know, I get tired of these. Y'all are a bunch of snakes and rats.
So you notice the majority of this isn't even about what the issue is. It's about him bashing up on his haters. You notice? That's almost why I started this out doing what I did, because I had an issue with some people that were saying some shit, and I want to be real clear. That shit that I was saying about Dunnick had nothing to do with what you said, Stumblefoot. I had no issue with that. I'm calling out some weirdo from Madison County that doesn't even vote over here was talking about it, and then some other whack job. And so, and it wasn't about not liking it. It was about what they said about why. And half the reason I did that is because it took me 5 minutes, and then we moved on. Here, this dude is talking for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. And like, he spent 30 seconds talking about the story, and now he spends the next 12 minutes talking about himself. What in the hell? That's not how I mean, that's not how I do it. I guess that's what I'll say. That's not how I do it. So it's, you know, if it works for him, great. And if he's getting paid by Chuck to do this, I'm wondering what Chuck would have to say about that. Now, there's another video that he put up 6 hours ago. So this video was from yesterday. Now, there's another video that he put up 6 hours ago. So we're going to listen to that just for a second, and then we're going to get into the actual surveillance video. Okay, here's this. Let's hear what we get here.
I didn't want to cover this to begin with. Remember, community pressure was on me to talk about this.
He didn't want to cover this to begin with. Why? Isn't he the news? Wouldn't you cover this, whether it's happening to the guy that's paying you or not? Why would you not want to cover this? Why would you not want to cover this? That's weird. Here we go.
And we're letting it fall out how it fall out. But after we get through with all the finger pointing, who did it, who's mean, who's not, listen, the community out here, us, out here that's not there in those county buildings, we're dependent on you guys. And I'm talking to everybody, Chuck, Shane, the county employees. I'm talking to everybody. We're dependent on you guys to run that. It's too much back and forth. I've been thinking and reflecting on everything. Listen, I don't care who's right. I don't care who started it. Kindness, respect, communication, and being genuine can go a long way in this situation. Obviously, there's some things that's going on that's not being agreed upon down there. Whatever it is, I don't know all the details, but it's not about that right now.
Interesting. So his mood is changing now. I want to know if his mood is changing after these videos have been released. Okay. So it sounds like it's like before it was like, no, Chuck didn't get walked out. That didn't happen. And you guys out there saying this and saying I'm biased, to hell with you. You know, now it's, well, I don't care who started it. You know, kindness. We just gotta relax and love each other and communicate. It's like, wait. It sounds like maybe you watched the videos and the videos didn't really show what you were putting out originally. And you're going to get to see those right here, right now, because we're going to watch those videos. And now, remember, if you haven't seen the video, if you haven't heard what this is, you're going to want to you're going to want to go back. We talked about this a couple episodes back. You can go back and you can see what all exactly came out of this, and we'll walk you through it with these videos. But all right, we're going to watch this video and we'll see what happens. So unfortunately, we don't get to see the fight, the back and forth inside the clerk's office. Now, maybe there's video footage out there of a cell phone. Maybe there's not. I don't know. I'm telling this, if the people out there, if someone has video footage of what was taking place inside the clerk's office, all you've got to do is send it to me. Okay? You can send it to me one of a couple ways. You can send it to Messenger on Facebook. Okay? It's really simple. You can hit me up on Facebook. There it is. Bilbrey's Facebook page, facebook.com/Bilbrey318. Very simple. Or you can email it to me privately at khbilbrey@gmail.com. Okay, it's there. You can go back and get it. Or you can email it to the program, and the only people that get this is me and Kate. So it's no one else is going to see it. No one else will know who the number is. You can do that. Okay, that's really easy. Or you can call me, text me, send it to my cell phone, and we'll do what we got to do. No one will out you. No one will ever know who sent it to me. You can send it to me anonymous. You can send it to me with your name. I'll protect you. Nothing will ever happen. You can do it one of those ways. Phone number, my email, the show email, my Facebook page. Hell, you can even send it to the show Facebook page, which is right there, facebook.com/political spotlight 318. Send it to us and we'll put it up. Okay. All we have, we have basically three different videos. We have a video of this elevator. We have a video over the first floor and a video of the clerk and another woman leaving after the event. Okay. And so what we're going to see here, this man right here is Mike Simmons. Mike Simmons is a commissioner appointment. So that means he's hired by the commissioners. So would he have a reason to back his friend and his boss, Chuck Polling? Hell yes, he would. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. He would have a reason to back his boss. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to tell you, we've talked before about what happened, and I've talked to you all about what happened during during the whole whole ordeal that happened with the fight with Pam and Chuck. I guess I shouldn't say fight. I should say the verbal argument. Okay, the verbal argument. Okay. And we're going to talk about this really quickly. A recent verbal confrontation between two Grant County elected officials at the courthouse is now under investigation by the Indiana State Police. In a recent interview with the Chronicle Tribune, Grant County Clerk Pamela Harris said a disagreement in early July with Commissioner Chuck Polling over where to move some office equipment resulted in the commissioner yelling at Harris's face in front of her staff. It was insane, Harris said. According to Harris, Commissioner Polling stopped by the clerk's office the morning of July 1st and insisted she move her equipment, documents, and copier from the 4th floor of the courthouse to the county building complex across the street. Harris said the commissioner brought up maintenance director Michael Simmons with him. Simmons with him. Harris claimed Commissioner Polling wanted to referee when requesting she move her files and shredding to another location. She objected and told the commissioner the documents on her floor should not be moved because they contained personal and confidential information. Remember, this is the circuit court clerk, okay? She is responsible for the records of the courts. Harris explained to the commissioner that the files needed to be secure. She said the documents and the equipment were then moved to the attic, which she explained could be problematic because of the humidity and lack of ventilation in that part of the building. According to Harris, after she raised some concerns over moving the copier across the street to the county complex, complex building, Harris and Commissioner Polling stuck his finger in her face and began yelling. She said Commissioner Polling yelled and told the others she would have to figure something out because it's the equipment. The equipment is getting moved, and it's getting moved today. Harris said the argument escalated, and the commissioner told her she needed to comply because I own these buildings. Harris responded by saying, "You don't own these buildings. The people own these buildings. You are merely the people own these buildings. You are merely a caretaker of the buildings," she said. Harris claims Commissioner Polling responded, "I do own these buildings, and I can have you put out on the street." She told Polling that he was stupid. "You can't have me put out on the street." Harris said at this point the staff closed the door and left the commissioner in the hallway, where he reportedly continued to yell. Harris said she instructed her staff to document what they had seen. According to Harris, an officer from one of the courtrooms heard what was going on and called downstairs for a security guard to come up and have the Commissioner Polling and Simmons removed from the building. Harris said Polling objected to leaving the building because he's a county commissioner. Harris claims Commissioner Polling was cursing and yelling as he left. Detective Robert Burgess with the ISP Peru Post is handling the investigation. Harris has worked for Grant County since 2010 and began her career in the recorder's office. Harris said throughout her tenure, she has never had to deal with this kind of behavior or interaction, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Now, after I read that, after we talked about this last time, I reached out to people. I read obviously that newspaper article. I talked with the clerk, and I reached out to a couple of other unnamed sources. And I will tell you that prior to seeing this last week, when I talked to people on the phone, I was told when the security people came up in the hallway and told him he needed to leave, and they wanted him to go down the stairs because they wanted him to leave right then because he was yelling and cursing. Now, Channel 27 never said anything about why he's yelling and cursing. And listen, you're right. You're right. It's not illegal to get in an argument. However, there is a repeated pattern of behavior with this man of, in my opinion, verbally accosting women that work there. And he does have a history of being in an argument very close, poking his finger in the guy's chest, and then headbutting the guy. And, at some point, you got to kind of put all this together and say, all right, we need to make sure people are safe. They have to allow these people to work in a safe environment. You might put this in the same category as, well, what if an auditor goes into the building and is recording? Does he have a right to say what he wants, and can he get loud? It's a public building, all that. I would argue that a person in the public would have more rights to maybe be a little loud in the building, more so than someone who is in Chuck's position, because the employees in the building have a right to feel safe and secure. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people in this building, men and women, do not feel safe for various reasons. They feel that he is unhinged. They feel that he could very easily become violent. They're also worried for their jobs because he has fired him, and Shane and the commissioners as a whole have fired a lot of people that don't agree. Okay. What I was told by multiple sources is Chuck said, I'm not going down the stairs. This was an instance where Chuck's saying, like, I'm the commissioner and I'm going to do as I please. And at that time, a deputy prosecutor, notice nothing said anything about the deputy prosecutor. Channel 27 didn't say anything about the deputy prosecutor. The newspaper didn't, but I've heard this from multiple sources. Said a deputy prosecutor and 2 prosecutors investigators also came out into the hallway and were telling him, you need to get gone. Yes, he's married to a woman and she's as mouthy and as loud and obnoxious as he is. We've talked about her on the program. He wants to have her. She's connected to this some way too in the government, because he's had her in there. He wants to have her take over the health department or some shit. It's all kinds of craziness. I'll have to go back and look exactly, see what the deal is there. But they go to the elevator door goes to open, and they were going to get in the elevator, and the police, the deputy was like, we're going to ride down with you. And I was told that Chuck and Mike said, no, you're not. They didn't want that to happen. And I was specifically told by 2 different sources that when they moved into the elevator, that Chuck moved into the elevator, and then Mike stood in the doorway attempting to not let the police, the sheriff's deputy, and or the investigators onto the elevator. So now I want you to watch this. Chuck moves in. He moves to the back. This is not normal behavior. Normally, you would move in and let other people walk in, right? He is standing there. So far, he pushes the door. He's still standing there. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but there was a hand that came by that, like, they're trying to get past him. Watch. Okay, so they're looking down at the buttons and pressing the button. Mike's pressing the button with his right arm. Look at Mike's left arm. Mike is the bald guy right here. Look at his left arm. You see someone try to, like, kind of push past him here. Watch. They're stuck in paper or something. And they're trying to get him to go through. And he's still standing there, like, not letting it happen. And the sheriff pushed his head down. You saw that, because I think he's got a cap on. He's like looking like, so like they're not letting him come in. That was reported. I didn't see Channel 27 say anything about this. Now, apparently one of the investigators from the prosecutor's office said, get in the back. And he finally did. Okay. So then he moves in. Yep. The sheriff does have a cap on. Okay. So the sheriff's deputy gets in the elevator, moves him back. Here's a guy in the blue. Here's a guy in the black. Now, I don't know these gentlemen from Adam. I know 2 people on this elevator. I know Polling, which is this little scrawny guy. Okay. Rita says they have been stacking the deck for 5 months. 2 of them 2 of the maintenance men at one time worked for Chuck before being hired at the county. Well, so see right there we go. So I know Chuck, I know Mike. Here's the deputy. I did not know who these individuals were, but I have reached out to sources, and today, before going live, I can confirm, and I don't know which is which, but the 2 men on the elevator are none other than... Give me one second. None other than prosecutors, investigators, John Kaufman and Justin Fall. Okay, so ding, 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 ding. The newspaper never said anything about investigators from the prosecutor's office. Channel 27 didn't say anything about investigators from the prosecutor's office. But my sources last week stated that this was such a problem that they felt the need to get on kind of as a backup to this deputy and write this down. So now we've got the deputy, Mike, Chuck Polling, and the 2 deputy, the 2 investigators. And I think that they're talking to their deputy prosecutor off the elevator right here. So we'll move forward. Doors shut, and we see Chuck here. Now let's take a look at Chuck. And I'm sure he's talking about the guy being up there in the attic, whatever, and being hot. He is who moved that guy up there. They did not want him up there. The clerk did not want him up there. So he's caused all this. That's why in Chuck, when Mike Simmons was like, well, it didn't matter who moved him up there. In Mike Simmons' response to Channel 27, he's saying all this stuff. And like I said, Mike Simmons has an awful big reason to back up his boss. Now, I can't hear what he's saying, but I'll tell you, he looks animated here. He looks animated in what he's doing. Is he fighting them? No, but he's not going to fight 3 law enforcement officials, And look, I've done that. I can't tell you how many times I've made that head movement of that guy in the blue. Like that annoyed, like, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, but you're still being a dickhead. You know what I mean? Watch. Watch this guy's head movement. We know, Chuck. We got it. We get it. We get it. All right. Now, watch this. Get off the elevator, okay? And there's a little bit of a time jump there. They get off the elevator, okay? The deputy is coming down the hallway, all right? The prosecutor, investigators are going off there in the background, and here comes Chuck and Mike. Now watch Chuck stop here and talk to this deputy. And you tell me if this looks like he's just having a friendly conversation with him. I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to let it go, and we'll watch it. And you tell me if you think they're having a friendly conversation. No way in hell. No way in hell. No way. No way. No way. Let me take you back and show you what I think this is. Again, we don't know what's being said. I'm going to try to find out who this deputy is. I'm going to try to talk with him. All right, let's look and see what goes on. See how he walks around there and kirks his head. Now watch. First thing he does, comes there and does the frustrated hands on the hips. Got his hands on his hips now, doing that whole thing. Okay. Probably looking for a badge number, his name. Deputy points to a star. Stars don't normally have their PE, their badge number on them. Okay, so they don't do that, but he's pointing to a star for whatever reason. Maybe asking him, like, what gives you the authority? We could speculate anything all day. I've had this conversation as a cop lots of times. You know, what gives you this? Doing this? Yeah. Right. This is very much like the disappointed dad. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the body cam too. I'm gonna try to get that. Now look how close he's standing to the guy. Look how far Mike and Chuck are. Chuck is right on top of this deputy. I'm going to tell you, this deputy must be a new deputy, because I don't give a shit who you were. I never let anybody from the public stand this close to me, ever. And I don't let people from the public stand this close to me now. I don't like my family stand this close to me. All right? So look at him. He's got the head down. He's definitely doing the disappointed dad thing. He's pointing and waving the hand, Hello, Howard County. Put the hand back, pointing in the face, and that's a Chuck move, pointing in the face, turn to walk, point it again, right there. How close was that face, that hand? How close was that hand to his face? Right there, and then again. Right there. He's not happy there. I don't care what is being said or what we can or can't hear. He's not happy in that conversation. Now, they're right here by the door. This is the metal detector. This is the door. Now watch. He pointed several times. He's not happy. He leaves. They turn and leave. He's still looking at him as he's leaving. He is not happy. This is not the movement of a happy man. Now, I'm going to, right, Stumblefoot. I'm going to point out and say this. Did this man drag Chuck out of a courtroom? No. Did he drag him out of the clerk's office? No. Did he drag him out of anywhere? No. Was Chuck told to leave the building and to separate himself out now? Was Chuck escorted out of the building? You bet your ass. And I don't care if you're paid by Chuck, you're not paid by Chuck. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're from Henry County or not from Henry County. That man was escorted from the building for his actions that day. And it does look like after that happened that the deputy is smiling. Now, you remember on the security footage when I was getting arrested and telling you guys all if it looked like I was smiling, and you're like, yeah, I definitely was. And it looks like old boy here smiling too. We're going to look at it again from the time Chuck leaves. Okay? Because he's talking to this other deputy, and I guarantee you he's like, who the hell's this guy? He don't care who the commissioner is. Okay. You know, he's probably saying, I'll have, you know, I'm going to talk to the sheriff. I'll have your badge, or I don't know what he was saying. You know, this is my, but look at it. Just this move right here is letting him know, you don't mess with me. I'm the plumbing king and the commissioner. Well, let's look here. Look at this guy smiling right here. Yeah, smiling. Okay, now we see this again. We're going to go past this because I recorded a couple times. Okay, now 15-20 minutes after this, we get footage of video of the clerk and another employee like coming out. Like maybe as this is happening, I don't know. Maybe it's as this is happening, but in another area of the hall. I don't know exactly what the time is. But let's take a look and see what happens here. Now, tell me what you see here. It'll play again. They walk in. What do we think that was about? Got any thought on what you think happened there? To me, at points in there, it looked like one of two things. It looked like they were wiping their face. It looked like they could have been crying and wiping their face. It looked like they could have been laughing. And it could have been laughing to the point that they were crying and wiping their face. People are using this footage to say, well, look, they're laughing. That couldn't have happened. Let me tell you something. He told her that he could have her thrown out on to the street. He told her, I own these buildings. He came up there and caused a scene for no reason. They probably are he had to be escorted out by the sheriff. I'm laughing at this fool. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Sometimes people laugh when they're nervous. Ding, 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 ding. Sometimes people laugh when they're nervous. And then you take somebody that knows that somebody's a fool and they're laughing on top of that. So I'm going to work on getting this body cam footage. I'm going to work on getting a hold of the deputy and talking to him. And that's that. I don't have any shade for Channel 27. I'm not throwing any hate his way or whatever. He does what he does. It's good, whatever. He does a lot of good stuff. He's wrong on this. He's wrong on this. Uh-oh. I see it. Let me see what you're pointing to here. Stand by. Where is that at, Kate?
Political spotlight messages on Facebook.
I could see it, and then it just went away. Let me see if I can find it another way.
Let me screenshot it and send it to you.
Yeah, do that if you can.
We do not have permission to state a name.
Yeah, I figured.
It's not explicitly mentioned in there, so just.
Are you? Okay.
I'm getting it. I promise.
Yeah, she just said keep me anonymous.
There you go.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Okay, so here's what I'm hearing. I have this. Yeah, I saw that, Catherine. Looks like she had him thrown on the streets. So I'm getting a report from someone who was around here while this was happening, who messaged and said, Chuck absolutely said, I am the commissioner and you will address me as such, as well as he was going straight to the sheriff and he would have his badge. So now, Channel 27, I'm telling you, I will never release the name of this individual or the contents further than what I'm telling you. But I am telling you, Channel 27, if you are truly, truly unbiased in this situation, you can find people out there who will tell you the truth. And I would hope that you will report that as such, because it's taken me a little bit of time to talk about this, put this out, and to say that there are people out there. You can tell people, there's people in the video. There's all kinds of people in the video. There might be people that's down the hall. People all throughout the building heard this. Not heard rumor of it, but heard it going down. And again, I want to say, Chuck absolutely said, I'm the commissioner and you will address me as such when talking to the deputy. And he said he was going straight to the sheriff and would have that deputy's badge. I'm getting confirmation that the deputy is a younger man. And that after this, the deputy did seem a little flustered. So there you go with that. I'll keep working on this and seeing what we can get. But I'm telling you, Chuck, if you don't like the hot water, just resign. You can go back to plumbing toilets and to slurping out sewage tanks and be the biggest boss, you know, the king turd on shit mountain all you want. But you're not made for the commissioner's office. Matter of fact, I'm doing you a job and doing you a solid by telling you to leave this. I'm afraid if you don't leave commissioner's office, you don't resign, it's going to end in your arrest. I don't think you have the mental wherewithal to contain the power that you think that you have. If you don't have any power, dude, it's the commissioner of Grant County. Who exactly do you think you are? Nobody, bro. So weird. Okay, I will keep you guys posted on this, and we will obviously and absolutely have more about all of this in the very, very near future. No, the commissioner is the white. The guy in the video was a black man. He was a news guy. The commissioner is the guy that was doing all the pointing. The guy on the surveillance video that we just watched. Yes, LaRue. And you know my name, and you will address me as such. You will address me as such. Okay. All right. Moving on from there. Let's see. Next up. Okay. I'm going to try to get out here quick. I know we've been going long, but this is important. All right. The Indiana GOP versus the Indiana GOP. Okay. We've got some pretty serious, crazy stuff going on here. So we talked about this filing last week, and essentially what this is, to make this very, very, very easy. This is a situation where the party's eating itself, basically. Okay, is what we've got going on. So essentially what's happening is part of the GOP is unhappy that another part of the GOP isn't doing what it says it should do. Okay. And that's the bottom line. So this person filed this lawsuit, and it's getting a lot. It's getting a lot of commentary. Okay. And now I want to show you guys something. Okay. There's another, it seems like we're throwing hate on all of these other content creators out here tonight. And that's not really what I'm trying to do. But, you know, when the shoe fits, yeah, you got to wear it. Okay. So I want to show you this quick video from a group of guys that we talk about, and we don't talk about frequently, but we talk about the show. We've been on the show before, and this show is the Mouthwash Podcast. Now, well, let me just pull this up, and I'll show you, and I'll explain to you what the issue is here. Hold that up. We're going to do this here, do that there, and then we're ready to rock and roll. Okay. All right. So what we've got here on the screen is this is the Mouthwash talk show, whatever. They are a political podcast. It's mostly the guy down here, John Schmidt, and then several other people. He's got a Republican. He's the Republican. He's got a Democrat, a Libertarian, and himself, and then they have guests on. I've been on the show before. Brandon and I went on the show. We've had him on our show. I like John as a person. All right. I'm just going to, I've tried to not talk about this or throw hate or throw shade because I'm not trying to make people mad. I'm just going to tell it how it is. All right. I'm not out here to be anybody's friend. I'm not out here to be John's friend or to be anybody political party's friend. I'm out here to tell you if you're doing right or to tell you if you're doing wrong and to push on hard. And if I make you mad, if I say something you don't like, it's okay. You know, we'll all sleep fine. It's no big deal. In my opinion, real quickly. So the guys on the screen here are not the Mouthwash. John is the only one that's Mouthwash. The guy up here wearing the Jim Banks shirt is the young man that I said that filed a lawsuit, Joseph Bortka. And he's been a delegate. He's been like a guy in the party. He's a very hard right Republican. Okay, very hard right. MAGA, all that. The guy up here, this is my guy. I like this guy. Stephen Whitmer calls it like he sees it. He is 1/3 of the political thing. They're a show and a Twitter channel called Indie Reporter. If you're not following Indie Reporter, you should follow Indie Reporter. It's very they do some good stuff. I do like a lot of what they put forward. So I like Indie Reporter. They do a lot of great work. Okay. And Indie Reporter, if you want to follow them on Twitter, it is Indie_Reporter_. And I would highly suggest you follow them. They do a lot with state government. Okay. And so Whitmer is hardcore. He calls it like he sees it, and you'll like him, you'll hate him, but the information is square and his research is square. John, on the other hand, they play too much. John plays too much on his weekly show he has on Tuesdays. They're afraid to be too mean. They don't want to make anybody mad. You know, they don't want to call out Beckwith when he's being stupid because he's part of the team. And I just don't really, I don't have a lot of respect for people who can't call somebody out just because he's part of the team. If we can't call out the people on our side, then how dare we call out people on the other side? Okay, so my issue with John is he's always being too nice. Okay, so let's listen to this for a second.
Assembly of delegates. And what that means is that the convention needs to do business. And if the convention cannot do business because they don't allow the delegates to exercise their rights to bring business before the assembly, then they really undermine the entire convention. And so what's been happening in recent years is the leadership of the party has been focusing on making the convention only about the candidates to the exclusion of any serious discussion about policy. They have a platform, But one common complaint that many of you might have who are paying attention to Republican politics is the platform doesn't really mean much anymore.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, and part of that is because they don't really allow much debate. They don't have any debate, at least in recent years. The most recent example of something like that was in 2018 with Daniel Elliott's people. But even then, they definitely abbreviated it and wanted to avoid having a real discussion.
Well, and I guess to be devil's advocate here, and we experienced this in our meeting today with the Hoosier Freedom Caucus. We try to get our bylaws done. It's just painstakingly to go through these things. And I would say that a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I think I agree with them having the meeting beforehand to say, hey, what do you want to do? Because basically we're getting these delegates together. In the last convention, we had a heated lieutenant governor thing, and that was just one of them. Just think if we had 3 of them or 2 of them that were heated, we'd be there it'd be a 2 a.m. vote.
Okay.
And like who would want to be that?
Okay. So first off, Joe down here, Joseph was talking about what his lawsuit's about. He's suing the Indiana Republican leadership, the Indiana convention, the Indiana committee of the Republican Party, because they won't follow the rules at convention. Okay, they won't let delegates speak from the floor to make motions and do things that their rules state they have to do. So he's suing them. Okay. Well, here in a minute, we're going to hear from people that think that this guy is a clown and he shouldn't be doing this. And one of them is a Democrat, one of them is a libertarian, and the other is an establishment bootlicking Republican. Okay. And they're talking about why this lawsuit is stupid and it doesn't mean anything. Well, the first thing John says here is, well, to be devil's advocate, sometimes this stuff's so tedious, and who wants to be there all day? Well, let me tell you something. If you don't want to be there, don't file to run as a delegate. These conventions, even at the state level, used to last 2 and 3, 4 days. Now they last a day because everybody wants to get the hell out of there. They've got it all shut down. And what they're doing is the same thing that the Republican Party and the Democrat parties a lot at the local level are doing. They're shutting down comment from people that might dissent with ideas inside the party. And we're supposed to have these discussions and debates among the party, both on the Republican side, the Libertarian side, the Democrat side. It's what it's about. This is what the whole process is about, is having debates and doing this so we can put forth the best information possible to then take forward to try to beat the other side with. But if we stop doing this because we are in a place where only one group of people are in power, and it's not the Republicans, it's the establishment bootlickers that are it's those people that are in power in this unigov, one body, whatever, uniparty, system where it's the bootlicking establishment Republicans. It's not the conservatives. It's not it's not the moderates. It's these people, and just a handful of them. But my issue is when the Democrats are beating people up that want to make a change, and then even people who's supposed to be on our side is beating us up for making a change. Damn. I mean, there's literally no place to go. Yeah, Kate. That's exactly. Well, okay. I just saw that coming. I don't know how long it's been up, but yeah. So, okay. Now I'm going to let you hear, because this is what this guy's up against. And I'm going to tell you, I don't even know that Joseph Bortka is the right person to bring this suit. Maybe someone else needs to, because the problem is these people tend to be far more, they're not like the everyday conservative, constitutionally minded folks. It's like the extreme of the party. So it's more easy to call these people the nut jobs than it is to say bring it to someone that might be a little bit more balanced. I don't know. Let's take a look at this. And I'm not saying that about Joseph. I'm just saying that's what people say about him. Oh shit.
We're heated. We'd be there it'd be a 2 a.m. vote.
Hey. It's going to be all day.
Not even match. It doesn't match. And
talking about the budget.
The budget that was just fired. That's just fired at Fort Sumter. Yeah. This one's Gettysburg.
Oh Lord.
Indian Republican Party Civil War enters its next phase, ladies and gentlemen, with another legal chapter. Marion County delegate and former House candidate Joseph Borka filed a lawsuit alleging the party's. Let me make sure I got this right here. Alleging the party's convention was hijacked by leadership to suppress grassroots votes. The suits target the Indiana Republican State Committee and former convention chairs Ed Simcox and Randy Head. And so, Jim Merritt, we start with you.
Yeah, well, former county chairman. Well, first of all,
okay, Jim Merritt is a Republican Party hack. He's the kind of guy that can never say anything bad about another Republican. Anytime a Republican does something bad, he's like, well, look, maybe he needed to drink and drive and to not get caught. I can't stand Jim Merritt. Okay.
Ed Simcox is the most honest person I know, number one. And two, he understands how to put a convention on. And Randy had.
Okay, Ed Simcox is the most honest person I know. Okay, great. Maybe he is. It still means he's capable of making a bad decision and not allowing a delegate from the floor to make a motion. We watched it happen. I watched it. That happened. They would not allow him to make the motion. It was Joseph that was trying to make the motion, and they over-yelled him. They said, we don't need to listen to you. We've got the power. And that's not how this is supposed to work. And so that's what these guys say. Well, these people are all my friends, so certainly they can't be doing anything wrong. Okay.
Did an outstanding job of succeeding him. And I think this is what happens when the parties that are in a supermajority and not a whole lot of discipline. And the idea that he's gotten a lot of media on this, but I just don't think that this has any merit. I don't think that
no pun intended.
Yeah, right. I just don't know what is there. This is inter-party squabble. A lawsuit is so foreign to me on this. They ought to have a fight about this. But usually when people.
Yes, Jim, they should have a fight about it. But here's the problem. He can't have a fight about it because the party won't even let him have a fight about it. This is seriously like being a 4-year-old going out and fighting Superman and punching Superman and thinking that you can win. And Jim Merritt saying, well, all he needs to do is he needs to punch Superman more. He needs to punch Superman harder. What? Okay, everybody's tried that. And at the point where we're at the end of our ropes, the only way to make a difference is make a lawsuit and sue and try to get something changed. Let me tell you what the step is. Let me tell you what the step is past this. And this is where it's not fun, and this is the stuff that people don't want to talk about. The step past this is tearing the whole mother effing thing apart and doing maybe crazy shit's happening. Okay? Nobody really has a stomach for that. So let's back her down to some and maybe we try to do it in court. Okay? He's like, this is so foreign to me. Right, because you've always gotten everything you wanted. You've always been part of the establishment, Jim.
Like Ed Simcox and Randy Head get everybody together every 2 years and they talk about a platform. The biggest issue that is discussed is the life issue. That is really what all this is all about. And
no, that is an issue, but there are a lot more issues and they don't ever let it ever be discussed.
And there are many of us that think that that's been in that summer session, that special session, that was solved. And so I've been to a lot of conventions, and I've never seen a minority squished, if you will, or shut down. And it just really.
And did you not attend the listen? And here his argument is, well, Micah won. Micah was the minority. He was the grassroots effort, and he won. There are bigger issues. There's not just ever one issue. There's lots of different issues, right?
Kind of boggles my mind. It's almost like idle hands. We don't have anything else to do. Let's fight among ourselves, and it's disappointing.
So, Lindsay, let me ask you: are Republicans acting like Democrats now?
Well, when you threw this on our list today, I was sitting there thinking, well, just a year ago, I was sitting at the Indiana State Democratic Convention waiting to find out if Destiny was going to be the one. But obviously, this is the scenario we've got here now that it's in the courts is different. And you've taken this fight, essentially pulled it out of the convention where you normally see and I loved your point that this was so perfectly executed at the convention by the folks who are seeking to put others in the roles they're in now. And now it didn't work out in their favor. So they've gone enough.
I don't know what she's talking about, because these people were
boys
for
go
Micah.
in the back room and go beat the hell out of each other and go work this on your own, because we're not dealing with this nonsense here.
So it worked. It worked the way they wanted it to work. It did work the way they wanted it to work. I'm just so sick of hearing this. This nonsense is so. I just have such a problem with them saying, "Don't do this. Don't make such a stink. You look foolish. Just come to us, talk to us." This is the same thing they say at the local party. Come and talk, and we just need to do it. We can't do it this year because we're in an election year, but come next year, come after the election's over. Well, after the election's over, they always say, well, we can't do it now because we're gearing up for next year's election. So then next year's election comes, and they're like, well, we'll have to do it after the election. So finally we get to the off year when there is no elections, and they're like, oh, can't you just give it a break for 1 year? Just we're just politicked out. Come back next year when we're back at the grind. And it's like, no, we have to do it. And if you're not going to do it right now, I'm going to make you do it. I'm going to hold you hostage. Here's your option. I'm going to come to your house and talk to you about it. And you're not going to like that. Or we can go to court and do it. Nobody's going to like that. It's not going to work the way, that's the only way we can do it other than doing stupid stuff. The fight has to take place in the court. The rules don't allow for any other opportunity. That's exactly right. When the people in charge are creating the rules, they're creating the gameplay, they're creating the field, they're creating every way in which you can go and fight against something bad happening, then you have to do something else. And that quote that Kate put, or that comment that Kate put up there, she said, it has to happen in court because she said the fight has to take place in court. The rules don't allow for any other opportunity. When I first saw that, I thought she was going to say the fight has to take place in court because if it doesn't, it happens in the streets. That's the comment I was going to say. It's like this is the last draw. If we can't fight it and get it done here, now there's all kinds of arguments to be made for maybe Joseph Bortka is not the right person to do this. Maybe it needs to be somebody else. Maybe Bortka's too far out there, yada, yada, yada. Then the other aspect, and you said, was there an opportunity for him to respond? Did you mean the kid, the guy? Well, so they didn't actually have Bortka on. That was those guys. That was the mouthwash people looking at an interview that Abdul had done, and Joseph wasn't in the room. Joseph was on mouthwash, and it basically they just go on and yeah, they say what I'm saying. Joseph's like, what we're saying here, like, they won't let us do it at the convention. We have to do it in the courtroom because that's the last place we can do it. The only problem I have with that is John, mouthwash guy's like, well, but, then it gets to be a long convention. And it's like, shut up, John. What side of this are you on? We're fighting this or we're not fighting it. You're either with the team or you're not. Get in, get out, get off shit or get off the pot. But quit this milly mouth, washy back and forth. Like we've had issues with Rob Kendall. He had issues with Rob Kendall and he was talking about, but we've like worked things out. And there's things that he says that we don't like, but there's things that we say that he agrees and we like when he's calling people out, yada, yada, yada. He was calling Rob Kendall out last week. You want to know what he was calling Rob Kendall out for? He was calling Rob Kendall out for calling people out, for being a jerk, for being a doo-doo head. And it's just like, yes, John is so soft in his opinions. Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly. And it's just like, dude, you know. So maybe we need more people, new people, different people. That's not it. That's just, that might be the right cup of tea for people, but it's too cold for me. So I don't know what else to say there. I need a new brand of mouthwash apparently, because that's certainly not it. Okay, before we get out of here, I do really quickly need to talk about the plus topics. We got through all the main topics. It's been a long show, but I do have some very, very important plus topics that I do need to hit really quickly. Okay, so the first up on the plus topic, let me pull this list up here really quickly so I can see what exactly it is that I'm talking about in the plus. Okay, on the plus topics, this is really important for Delaware County. We have an upcoming meeting scheduled for the Delaware County Muncie City Metropolitan Planning Commission, and they are going to be discussing our the solar ordinance for Delaware County. This is very, very, very important. Okay. I want to put this up here just for a second and let you guys see this. This is very important. Absolutely, David Williams, 1000%. Okay. So here this is. And I want to say this here. So I want to put this up here because this is important. So, attention, Delaware County residents concerned about solar and industrial solar is what we're talking about. The Delaware County City of Muncie Metropolitan Plan Commission has scheduled a special meeting to discuss the proposed solar ordinance for Delaware County. The Plan Commission will hold the special meeting on Tuesday, August 12th. So it's a couple weeks out, which is good. Tuesday, August 12th at 6 p.m. at the Delaware County Justice Center, located at 3100 South Tillotson Avenue. Doors will open at 5:15. You need to be there by 5:15, 5:30. You need to get there early. Anybody wishing to speak must sign in between 5:15 and the start of the meeting at 6 p.m. Apparently, they're not going to let anybody sign in after 6. I got a problem with that. Somebody gets there at 6:05 and wants to sign in. You got to do your damn job. All right. Moving on. I have a major concern with the next portion of their notice, and I will be pushing back against it between now and the meeting. I would highly recommend everyone else on both sides of this issue push back as well. They have said an allotted speaking time will be determined that evening based on the number of individuals signing in. All I am saying is they better allow every citizen on both sides of this issue to speak. Not allowing that would be a major First Amendment rights violation for whoever doesn't get a chance to speak. I am sure this has been something that is being pushed and supported by County Commissioner Stephen Brand because he's pushed for this kind of idea in the past on other issues. I want to be clear. This idea is not okay. Industrial solar in Delaware County is a major issue that we've been dealing with for years. We might as well take our time, hear everyone who wants to speak, and get it right once and for all. The First Amendment guarantees Delaware County citizens' rights to speak, especially on issues that directly impact their communities, our land, and our future. To me, this isn't just about solar, it's about a right to be heard. We must demand our right to be heard on this issue. Every citizen who wants to speak on this issue needs to be allowed to do so. No arbitrary time limits, no silencing, no gatekeeping. To help push back against their attempts for setting limits who can speak, okay, I want to tell you, you can email Kylie Swackhammer. Kylie Swackhammer is the person that you need to email. And I'm going to send this to you right here. Email Kylie Swackhammer at the following email address. I'm going to put this up. Okay, right here. You can email Kylie Swackhammer. As well, you could also email Commissioner Scott Brand. Commissioner Stephen Brand. Stumblefoot. Okay, there's Stephen Brand. I put email Commissioner Stephen Brand at the following email. So there it is. I put it up there for you. You guys can see it. It's there. Let them know you'll be there. Let them know you're coming. Tell them that you want to speak and that everyone should be permitted to speak. Period. That's just the way that's got to be. This is a special meeting. It'll be Tuesday, August 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Located at the Justice Center. Doors open at 5:15. We will do more on this in the weeks to come, and I'll keep you guys posted, and I'll let you know, and we'll talk about it a lot more. I just wanted to get that out there. That is important. Okay. Next up, I want to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the Henry County Courthouse, there will be a rally in support of the victims of the sexual assaults and sexual abuse, the rape, the molestation, the harassment, all of it tied together. People will be there. They will be rallying to support the victims. They will be rallying, protesting to call out the bad guys and to call attention to this. If you are against this and you can show up. It starts at 1 and it goes until ... I don't know what the end time of this will be, but please, please, please attend. I can now announce I have spoke to the attorney for these gentlemen that are filing these suits, Attorney John Little. We are going to have him on very soon, and he is going to give the information about this, and you guys will love him. He is hardcore, so it's going to be fun. Rachel's going to be there. She's part of this. She says meet on the north side of the courthouse, the street facing Broad Street. So that's like 38, I think. It is right. Sad that the community has to rally against sexual deviance. Absolutely. The rally will be peaceful. Okay. The rally will only go, the rally attendees are being directed to only go on places where there are public property. And the point of this is to not get stupid or do stupid stuff, but to call attention to bad people and to support the victims. Okay. So that's what we're doing here. All right. The other thing, update on the record request from both Muncie and Blackford County. Most of my record request for the city of Muncie for Dustin Clark is done. I realized once we were getting everything, that the request did not go far enough into July in order to get his time information for the work that he did out at Prairie Creek. So I have submitted an amendment to that request, and hopefully we will have that soon. We should have that soon. I also have a request in for the records and documents pertaining to the incident with the big party that resulted in the shooting death of a Blackford County young gentleman. Apparently, the defendants and the people responsible for this are from Muncie. And I'm hearing that while they have made some arrests, apparently the person who was the actual trigger puller has not been taken into custody. So they're out here running around acting like the man's been arrested, but apparently there is a murderer who has not been brought to justice, and they are not giving any information out, and it's ridiculous. They need to be giving more information. So I'm going to be fighting this in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be being a problem up there in Blackford County. Lastly, the very last thing that we got to say before we go, I know this has been a long show. The very last thing. The Madison County Fair is underway. The fair is underway. If you out there in the world are sick and tired of corruption in Madison County, then come out to meet Catherine Callahan and other like-minded citizens looking to make a difference on issues like elected officials having maxed the tax, election integrity, tyrants trying to silence citizens, trail to nowhere issues, serious water issues, funding and budgetary issues, and much, much more. The 2025 Madison County 4-H Fair from 5:30 to 9 p.m. Monday, July 21st through Saturday the 26th. People are telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, that anyone can work the Republican booth. Heavy sigh. Here's the thing. I believe they're right. They can't stop you from going in there. But the fact that you've got your own booth is all the better for it. So if you want to go out and hang out with Catherine and others, go out. I'm going to try to get there one night this week, and we're going to try to do a live show from there. So that will probably be, maybe we could do that on my birthday, on Saturday on my birthday as like an extra thing. I don't know. I'll let you know. We'll tell you as we get closer. So I'll let you know how that goes, but we'll see what happens. Okay. That's it. It's been a long show. Sorry for everything, but we had a lot to talk about. We had a lot to get out. And I thank you guys for hanging around and watching. Share the show with everyone you know. Hit the like button before you go. That would be great if you did that. That would be so wonderful. We would love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. If you want to find us on social media, you can do that there. God bless each and every one of you. Take care. This is just the beginning. It was a great show tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow, God willing, at 9 p.m. for episode 492. Take care. Good night. Goodbye.